Okay, guys. Well, welcome back to day 2 of the 5-day solar challenge. We had a great meeting yesterday. I thank everybody who's there yesterday. And I know some people who weren't there yesterday. We'll give a very brief recap of what we covered yesterday. One thing I forgot to do yesterday was I forgot to introduce my business partner, Wayne, who is on the call. Wayne has over 20 years of digital marketing and digital wholesaling experience. So one of the biggest issues as a consultant that I found over the last 2 years, and really over 2 years, because I've been working with companies for about 5 years, the biggest issue I found was just lead generation, quality leads. And when I first met with Wayne a little bit over a year ago, he had worked in the digital side from like from the finance. Can we mute? Welcome, Avi. Okay, thank you. He had worked on many different sectors, but he was looking to jump into solar, and I told him about all the issues in the industry with leads. And I told him it's not just finding them, it's quality, it's finding companies that are reputable, that can do it at a good cost and do it consistently. So one of the reasons I wanted to work with Wayne was his expertise in that. Even though I did buy and purchase leads, literally probably over hundreds of thousands of dollars over the 10 years I own my own solar company. But that I always had a marketing manager. I always had someone managing those things for me. So it wasn't quite my expertise. So Wayne, thank you for being here today. And, I know a lot of people, like always interested in the deepness of that side and like how the back end of like lead gen works, especially on like high volume too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. Great to see some smiling faces in here. Yeah, my background, he just summed it up a little bit, but I've actually ran multiple call centers, but I really have been on the wholesale side. Like, just to give you the quick overview, usually in any type of an industry that requires leads and people that are looking to buy leads, it's very frustrating for the end buyer because unfortunately there's a lot of people who lie. And then there's also multiple levels of lead. There's the lead generator, person that actually can go buy the ads on Facebook, on Google, or wherever else and turn it into an actual viable lead. And then there's all kinds of middlemen. And then eventually you get to the retailer who's the one trying to reach out and sell you on, why he has the best lead. And it's usually never the best lead, and it's usually not what they say it is. So it's a frustrating experience. I heard it from many, many, many people. But me and Brad talked in the beginning, and I see behind the scenes all the way from the original generation, and that's what I do. Is we'll go from the actual source, we'll buy leads from the first click on Facebook, Google, YouTube, you name it. And then we know the quality. We know that it's not being, stepped on and being resold when it's not supposed to. It's exclusive. It's really exclusive. So
nice. Yeah. And we're going to go deep into leads. Actually, tomorrow we're going to spend almost a full day on it. So, or the full session on it. So we'll go very deep into that. Also here, as she was yesterday, is my amazing executive assistant, Leah. So thank you, Leah, as always, for keeping everything together.
Thank you, Brad.
Apologize. Yeah, you're welcome. I apologize. I didn't introduce you yesterday to the team. Okay.
It's okay. Thank you.
Also want to share some feedback. James, thank you for your amazing feedback, guys. I love feedback. I had a boss many years ago. He had a great line. He would run these public meetings when I used to work as an urban planner. People don't always like to give the best feedback, but he said all feedback is good feedback, regardless of what people used to say. But James wrote yesterday, he said, "Hi, Brad, I really enjoyed the meeting today. Thank you for sharing your experience and encouraging us to do something that's going to benefit me and so many others. I look forward to tomorrow's meeting. Thank you." All right. So James, I love that sort of feedback. I do appreciate you and all you and everyone else. Again, yesterday we spoke about sort of like where we are at. And I want to do a brief recap right now. Before I do that, I just like to always remember sort of my things that I think makes the meeting go really, really well. So number one is having a video on. I love looking at faces. When I can look at your faces, it means so much more to me. It's like for a student, for a teacher, they want to see the students are paying attention. And it's not just for me. When you have your camera on, it kind of forces you to like actually pay attention. And that's one thing I always say to people. It's like, I've been doing this for many, many years. I am doing this for you guys, but if you're on your phone doing other things, that half attention is only going to give you half the result. So if you can have your camera on, mic's muted, and when I'm going to ask for a lot of participation. Again, the reason I ask you guys to participate in the chats and whatnot is to keep you active. And also I may say key words or key things. And when you write those things down, it helps you guys to remember those things. So I don't just want you to write in the chat, I am here. I want you to write in the chat, something that your favorite emoji right now, just drop it in the chat. It could be a smiley face, could be a fire sign, just something to get you going right now in the chat. So we, can kick this day off, in a good way. All right. So with that, I want to just do a brief recap. As I mentioned, we'll talk about a brief recap. Sorry. But technical difficulties. Why did I've had meetings before where the technical difficulties crush me. But let's see how they go today. All right, let me share my screen. Hopefully today is a really technical difficulty free day. Okay. So let's just start. I want to do a brief recap and then we'll jump into today's agenda of what is going on today. Okay, let's go. So I shared yesterday, for those who weren't here, I shared about my story. Again, my name is Brad Stoller. I've been in the solar industry now for over 14 years. 10 of those years, I own my own solar sales and installation company, which I exited from a little bit over a year and a half ago. For me, before I got into solar, I never made more than $50,000 a year. I shared my story yesterday when the mail used to come in. I used to literally feel stress because those bills would pile up and I just felt like I couldn't pay for them. And when I started working in solar, all of a sudden everything changed within, I was just scraping by. That's what I was saying yesterday. I was working multiple jobs, barely making ends meet, delivering food, helping out a handicapped woman, doing anything I could to put, money on the, food on the table for my family. In fact, I put this picture of the groceries there because literally we used to put the groceries on the table before we put them away. And my wife and I used to be like, oh, literally say a prayer, like being grateful that we at least had money to put food on the table at the end of the week or the end of the month. Then I got into solar and something crazy happened. Within a very short period of time, my income in solar surpassed all my income in everything else I was doing. I was able to stop doing the 3 other jobs I was doing, focus on solar exclusively. A few months later, I paid off all my credit card debt. All my other bills and whatnot were brought up to date. And it really was like a game changer for me. And I wasn't someone who had solar experience. I wasn't someone who had done this in the past, but I just gave it my all and it was good to me. It was really good to me to the point I started my own solar sales and installation company. And I had this dream where, I could buy my own house and, really kind of have some of those American dreams. And I remember when we first started looking at our first house, I shared this yesterday, I wanted a starter home. But we ended up, when we went to the accountant and applying for the mortgage, he was like, that dream house you've been looking at that had all the bells and whistles on your wish list, he's like, Brad, you can afford that. And I remember we ended up getting the dream house. This isn't actually a picture of my house, but I'll show you a picture.
I can move them to Tuesday and Wednesday.
So Leo, if you can mute the background. Okay. And I ended up getting the dream house and it really had all the bells and whistles that I was looking for. This is actually a picture of my property right here. You can see this is the driveway lined with the red maples. That's the house. That's my barn. That's my swimming pool. And see these paths? As I speak right now, my wife is walking around all these paths. It actually goes along the edge of the property here. It goes into the woods. And one of the things my wife used to do at my old house, we lived in the city, is she used to go walk to the park and just walk around that park for literally an hour or 2 at a time. And, she's a woman. I used to be concerned about her because I would go with her sometimes, but I didn't have the stamina to walk around for an hour or 2 each day. And the fact that she can just do that on her own land. So this right here is a 5-acre plot. And we ended up buying the 5-acre plot the house sat on, plus this other 8 plot right here, which goes all the way in the back, the 68 acres in addition. So a total of 73 acres. And I bought this 68 cash, which was nice. And for me, it had all the bells and whistles I wanted. It had forest behind the house. That's what I liked. Not everyone's going to like that. Some people say, I want a Lamborghini. Fine. That's not what I wanted. I want a house with land and forest and all that stuff. I wanted the walking paths with my wife so she could walk around here. These paths goes all the way. Actually, this connects with what's called the Mid-State Trail in Massachusetts and goes all the way into Vermont. It had fruit trees. I have 6 apple trees, 2 peach trees, 2 pear trees, hundreds of blueberry bushes. My wife wanted fruit trees. Somehow the property came with that. It had a well. My wife wanted a well. It had southern facing roofs, so I could put solar panels on the house, which I did. So solar, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying everything has been like perfect and amazing with me and that company. No, I had like a lot of ups and downs, and a lot of it had to do with myself. Starting a solar company now over 12 years ago, that was not easy. There wasn't like mentors. There wasn't people I could just say, oh, let's see how this person did it. I was literally making my own mistakes, learning on my own. And, you know, I think you know that feeling when you're trying to do something on your own. It's harder. You have that learning curve, right? So, but I was able to, you know, stay in business and grow year after year. Started as a sales org. Then I started doing sales and installation to the point where, you know, I was doing sales, installation, brokerage. If we have time today, I'll talk about all those different business models that we did. All right. And the main thing for me was at the end of the day, like, I just love solar. I love the fact that I was doing something, putting real solar panels on real people's homes that was saving them money. It was a true win-win. They were saving money or getting these great government incentives. I always went home feeling good about myself. After the install, I could see the panels on the roof, right? It was very visual, right? I could see the solar panels on the roof. I could look at their electric bills, and like my electric bill, this is my actual electric bill for my own house with solar. See, it's the net metering bill. You can see a negative $1,579 balance. So this is my summer bill. I use electric heating. I use ductless mini splits, heat pumps in my house. So right now my house is being heated with electric heating. So that's why I have this big credit I build up during the spring, summer, and fall. So I can use that for heating in the winter, which is not uncommon, guys. This is the way the world's going. We know we're going towards electric vehicles. It's already happened. We know we're moving away from fossil fuels for heating and cooling, and we're moving into these type of things. All right. So what else did we talk about yesterday? So that was a little bit of my story. I went more deep into it yesterday. Yesterday, we also talked about where solar is at as an industry. So I'm just going to quickly go through this. Solar jobs right now, according to the Solar Association and US Census data, is supposed to double by 2030, number of jobs. At that same time, it's supposed to double again between 20 and 30. So 5 years later, in 2035, it's going to double again. So 2024 to 2030, the number of jobs doubles. And then it doubles again right after that. In terms of installations, you can see between the last 5 years, the average solar growth in terms of number of solar installs has gone up 20% each year on average. Last year alone, it went up 24% in a down economy. And we're going to talk about how solar goes up in a down economy with things like real estate went down 28% at the same time, right? Why were so many sectors down last year, but solar was up? We'll talk exactly why that is. And solar is supposed to actually triple in the next few years. So we're seeing a 20%, 20%, 20%. Over the next 3 years, it's supposed to triple in size, the industry. This is another great growth trajectory over the 10 years for solar, and it's showing total capacity of electricity in the US, and it's showing it based on different types of production. We already passed nuclear production in 2017. Guys, we're going to pass In the next 3 years, we're going to pass hydro, gas, and coal, their individual productions. By the end of the decade, by 2031, the beginning of next decade, solar is going to surpass all of those combined. So we're in an industry that's not just growing, it's massively growing. It's massively expanding. It's kind of like, if you look at it like this, it's like, I remember people who made a lot of money in the cell phone and just in cell phones in like the 90s or so, right? Why? Because it was an industry that was massively growing, and there were certain people who got in at the right time. In life, it's all about timing. We talked about Warren Buffett in that story yesterday. Oh, his roommate went into steel, maxed out. We don't know his name. Warren Buffett goes into to the right vehicle, and we know his name. By 2031, global solar energy production will exceed all other forms of electricity production. It's kind of cool. It's kind of cool. All right. I love this one because it's very visual. This is another one that just shows where we're at now, this dotted line. And it shows where we're going to be in terms of solar production and its percent of energy production. You can see right now, we're right at that tipping point. We're right at the point where solar right now only makes up 4% of a market penetration across the US. By 2035, it's going to go up to 40%. Guys, that is just massive, massive growth right now that we're literally experiencing this as we speak. So why are we experiencing all this growth? Well, there's multiple reasons. One, government support. The government has renewable and solar goals. They have mandates and targets that each federally, state by state, they have to meet these goals. So in addition, there's government incentives. There's federal tax credits, 30% federal tax credit. They just introduced this direct pay for nonprofits, churches, and other 501c3s so they can take advantage of that. Each state by state has different incentives. Some local towns have different incentives, right? So I've worked in towns where there's a federal, a state, and a local incentive. And people will say, well, if all these incentives, why wouldn't I go solar? I'm like, yeah, exactly, right? Why wouldn't you go solar? So guys, I want you to, this is a big point. So I want you to write this down. I forgot, I'm supposed to get asking you guys to participate. So I want you to just write incentives. Or you can write tax credit, whatever you want to write. Let's write tax credit in the chat. Tax credit in the chat. Because this has been a major game changer when the tax credit was supposed to actually disappear about 2 years ago. And the government said, no. We're not going to have it disappear. We're going to increase it back from 26%, which was supposed to go from 26 to 22% a few years ago. And the government said, no. We're going to keep that tax credit all the way to the end of till 2030. And then we're going to maintain that at 30%. All right, what else is happening? We have government incentives. We also have grid upkeep maintenance with this old antiquated grid that we're in the process of redoing, and we're solarizing the grid right now. We're decommissioning power plants. We're not building new power plants. We're decommissioning all the old diesel power plants. We're converting them to natural gas. Natural gas isn't the savior like we thought it was going to be 20 years ago. We know that isn't a guess. We know that as a fact now. Natural gas is not cutting it. It's just not. There's way too many obstacles and too many issues in the Northeast. We have dramatic shortages of power. That's why we have rolling brownouts and blackouts on hot days. So what is the solution? The solution has been solar. At the same time, when I got into the industry, way back in 2010, the price of solar was really high. And it has dramatically come down over the last decade plus. So what does that mean? Pricing comes down, government incentives, grid upkeep, and revitalizing of the grid. We have all these factors coming together. It's kind of like all the infinity stones aligning up. That's what we talked about yesterday. So we're at this perfect tipping point with solar where everything is aligned. And think of it like this. It's not one of these things where like industries have all these infinity stones line up at once. We're kind of at a unique situation with solar and with the opportunity that has been afforded to me and many others and to you guys. This is one of my favorite graphs. I love to show it because if you look at it, most of the times people talk about projections of solar or of any industry. And it's great to show a 10-year projection, right? This one, I love this one because it goes out to 2100. Is that how we say it? 2100, 2100. So this is going out 76 years from now. And you can just see the yellow. It's like, this is where we're at now, guys. That tiny, tiny, tiny sliver. And that's where we're going. So we're seeing a big change in solar, guys. We talked about this yesterday. The average commission for an independent rep is $6K in the United States for an independent rep. So what does that mean? Let's do some math. 6K. So guys, I want you to write 6K in the chat. 6K. Money sign 6K or 6,000, whatever you want. Money sign, because this is the average commission for a rep in the United States. I know we were just talking, I think it was Suki, you were talking about the UK and other countries are much different. Joe, who worked for me, he's joined some of these meetings before with me in the past. He is from Nigeria. He worked for me as an engineering intern for about it was a not an intern, it was like apprentice program. We had him on a special visa from Nigeria training. And he's been there ever since. And him and I've had a lot of discussions on just the different economies in Africa and other places around the world. And I've been there, actually, I've been to Africa 6 times doing projects in the last decade. So that's been a tremendous experience for me. So we got 6K as our average. My average rep doing 4 to 6 deals per month. So you start to do the math there. It's about a 20 to 30K take home per month. That's before taxes, obviously, right, guys? But you know, it's not bad. It's not bad. Even if you did 2 deals a month, let's say, and we're going to go into the math of this. I'm going to go into KPIs, how many leads you need to get per deal, what average close rates are, average appointment rates, sit rates, how many people you book sit. We're going to talk about all that. But this is the numbers that are applicable to someone who is actually willing to put in the work in. And I'm going to pause here just for a second, and I'm going to stop my screen share because this is something I said yesterday, and I just want to be emphatic about it. Solar is not for the guy who clicks on that ad that says, the easiest way to make money on the internet in 2024 is ... If that's you guys, I have no judgment, but just leave. This isn't for you. It's a real business. It's a real world product that people need. And we'll talk a lot more about that over the next few days, how you're helping people get away from really these predatory utility rates that go up unpredictably, that are monopolies, that people have no control, to giving them an option for clean, predictable, low-cost solar energy. So you're giving people a choice. It's a real product that you put on their roof or on their backyard of their business or in their field, however it works. But what it's not is something where you're just going to say, well, I'm just going to, click a button and I'll make money forever. It's not that. So I don't want to portray it as that. And it's like any other field, you have people who do really, really well. I talk about my friend Terry yesterday, who closed 33 deals in 35 days. We talked about her yesterday. That happens, right? But that's not average. That's not normal. She's a grandmother, right? I love the fact that she's a grandmother and she did it. Like, that's pretty cool, but she is the exception to the rule. But it doesn't mean for someone who's willing to work hard, willing to put the work in, willing to learn, maybe someone's willing to skip the line and not try to do everything themselves. Like what I try to do with everything I do is I try to learn from people who know what they're talking about. Those are the people who can, really make it. So I just want to be clear what solar really is about and what it's not. All right. So going back to the slide, going back here, I see guys who are sales reps, on the low end doing 125 a year to 250. Those are very real numbers. And again, got someone doing 125 a year, that's only closing 2 or 3 deals a month on average. So guy doing 250 is closing, 4 or 5. That's it, guys. That's the difference in the numbers. 4 to 6, maybe you get to this number. And so it is very possible. And again, I talked about Terry yesterday, who did last year. I said earlier this year, but it's actually last year. She did a $250,000 month in 1 month. She did 33 deals in 1 month with over a 7K average. She did $250,000. So guys, these are what is possible in the industry. I just wanted to give that recap to you guys. And yeah. Okay. The other thing I want to talk about is yesterday's recording. If you did miss the meeting, it is available for a week. After a week, it will be available to those who did order the VIP backstage pass. If you still want to get a VIP backstage pass, it's not too late. You guys can do that. So let me just talk real quick about that. I remember last time when we did it, I was like, oh, I don't know if a lot of people will be interested in this.
Sorry, Brad, I just want to correct you. It's actually not, the replays are not available for the whole week, but if you did miss it, they're usually available to the next call. The first one might be up a little longer, but they're generally like 24 hours. Just so
Thank you,
know.
Wayne. I thought it was a week. Okay. Okay.
That's only for the VIPs, the purchase.
Oh, okay. Got it. Got it. So the VIP is for life though. Yeah.
Correct.
Correct. Okay. So
With the
that's what-
VIP call recordings also, like the ones, the implementation after that we do
got
also.
it. Got it. Got it. Okay, guys. So just real quick about the VIP, what that is. VIP backstage pass, you get intimate with me and my team, a 30 to 60-minute VIP session each day where we do Q&A. And we also do our micro actions each day together. In addition to that, you get lifetime access to the recordings, including the VIP recordings, and you get a one-on-one planning session with me. And I usually charge big bucks for this for my clients when I do coaching and consulting, but that's included in this. It is also, you have an option to upgrade that from my little black book of solar, which does include things like trusted lead sources, distributors, other things I've worked with in solar over the years. The price for that, it's a one-time price. It's $47 and you get all those things that's included. You're going to get the intimate, VIP session, lifetime access to the recordings, a one-on-one planning session. All of that is included. All right, guys. So if you do want to do that, Leah, if you can drop the link in the chat, you can sign up for the VIP. Guys, I just want you to type VIP. And I just want to make one thing clear about the VIP, because this is something that I just want to clarify. Everything we do like this, it's absolutely free. We're just giving out this information. This is informational. But VIP, it's for those people who are like, man, I want a little bit more access to you, Brad. I have more questions. I need more time. I'm a little bit more dedicated. That's who the VIP is for. It's not for everybody, but it's for the people who want that a little extra. And that's why we made this available, because people kept on asking me for stuff like that. Like, oh, Brad, I have a lot of questions. Can we meet? It's like, okay, so we need to put something together for these people. All right, great. All right, so for today, we're going to go through the solar blueprint. So one of the things that we did after doing solar all these years, I really was like trying to how do I distill this? How do I put this in a way where anybody, the average person, can get into solar with the lowest bar of sort of like training, understanding, everything they need to know, but without all the fluff. But the other thing I also noticed, and this is something I absolutely believe, this is something I saw over the years, the better, more succinct training I gave to people, it was a direct correlation to their success. So the more training literally equaled the more success, the more access they had to ask questions. And especially in the beginning when they got going, because I trained reps for for over a decade, the more chance I saw for they had the success. So all those trainings, I didn't just put together, let's say a sales training, right? I put together a sales training in 2012. And then I trained, dozens of people, maybe 100 people. And then I upgraded the training and then made it better in 2013. And then I fixed it and added more things. Oh, I need to add this. I need to include this in 2014 and so on for over a decade. So what you guys are seeing now is literally dozens of iterations of the training later, all put together to be as succinct as possible. So we've called this the solar blueprint. And again, the idea here is that this would give you guys all the information you need without the fluff to, really just to be successful in solar. Oh, one slide behind. Okay, so solar blueprint. So what is this thing going to include? It's going to include how to get prospects, how to turn those prospects into leads, book appointments, how to present solar to the customer, how to, close those deals, overcome objections, close the deal, and then rinse and repeat. And also, how to get the panels on the roof. We do talk about that as well. So all of that's included in this. The rest of this week, we're going to be going over all those things. So what I told you guys yesterday was we're going to focus on the first 2 days, understanding what's going on in the market, what the basics of solar. Then the end of the week, we're going to get into like a lot of like super great details. So right now we're still at solar basics, solar 101, market overview, solar business models. That's like the basics of solar. And I'm telling you guys, once you even know these three things, you're going to know more than probably, I don't know, my guess is 75% of people in the industry. I mean it. Like even what you guys know about where solar is as an industry, you probably know more than most of the people I know who have been in the industry for years because they've just never taken the time to do the research to know what's going on in the industry. We're going to talk about my pattern lead generation formula, again, developed over 10 years. And this is how to like shoestring it, shoestring budget, your way to success with solar leads. How to turn leads into appointments. Guys, this is a huge thing where like, we're going to talk about MIT studies and all this great stuff when we talk about that. It's one of Wayne's favorite topics, actually. Presenting solar. We're going to talk about how to present solar to a customer that you feel good about. Guys, I don't train and I don't do sleazy. No used car salesman stuff. You have to be honest. You have to be ethical. You have to do it in a way where if someone was watching your meetings and was recording, that you would feel good about showing it to someone. I'm going to show you guys exactly. We're going to walk you through. So I'm going to ask for a volunteer. We're going to do an actual solar proposal later this week. So I'm going to ask someone to volunteer to send me an electric bill. I'm going to give you as a proposal for that person's house together. We're going to see that. We're going to talk about the 5 Ps of solar dominoes. This is a formula I've used for years with my reps to close deals. It's a very simple formula and it works. And how to get paid in this industry. Okay, guys. Oh yeah, and some helpful tips. The last day we'll do a lot of helpful tips, kind of those little things that I've learned over the years, like, hey, do this, avoid those mistakes. Okay, so Solar 101. All right, guys. Main thing I want to talk about here is we're going to go through that blueprint, but I want you to write in the chat. Is it better when you're trying to learn something like this to go and watch 1,000 YouTube videos and do it alone? Or is it better when you have help? What do you think the people who are most successful in life, the people who do it, the people who work with a mentor, the people who have help? If you think it's a mentor or help, you can write mentor or help in the chat. Or if you think that the most successful people, the average people who make it, just research and do all these things on their own and they make it, you can just write they do it alone. I know what I think, and I know what I've found. I have had mentors my entire career. Now, in solar, I couldn't have a lot of mentors because I didn't have people. But I had people who were the place I wanted to be my mentor. Last year when I was like, oh, I really want to get better at coaching. I want to get better at working with my clients and being a consultant. So one of my closest mentors is a professional consultant, ex-Special Forces. I meet with him about every other month. I go to his house in Connecticut. He doesn't live too far from me. And I tell him what I'm doing. And he consults like the military and the government. He's like one of the top advisors to the Singaporean government or some department or something. I went to a course with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. That's what I do. Because I have learned that I can do stuff on my own. Like I'm not an idiot. Right? But I've also found that I have way more chance for success when I work with others. All right, cool. So, all right, so I want to get into this, but I just want to ask you guys. So I'm just getting my spot. Give me 1 second here just to sort of get myself together. I have notes I'm always looking at, so I want to make sure. Okay. All right, so I want to jump right in, guys, to Solar 101. So some of you guys may feel this is a little bit repetitive, but some of you guys would be like, I literally had solar reps that worked for me for 5 years. I'm saying work for other companies for 5 years to come work for me and be like, after they went through my trainings, were like, Brad, I realized I've never trained in solar. Like these are like the best trainings I ever had. So guys, that's what we're going to start with right now. So let me just jump right into that. All right, let me share my screen again. Share screen, share sound.
How solar power works. Solar power works by taking the energy from the sun's rays and converting it into electricity. The sun's rays contain photons. When these photons hit a solar module, electrons inside of the solar module move and an electrical current is created. This electricity then travels from the solar array to an inverter. The inverter takes the electricity, which is in DC or direct current form, and switches it to AC or alternating current power. Once that switch is made to AC, the electricity is ready for household use. From the inverter, the power is fed directly into the building's main electrical panel and can provide power to the site. If the site demands more power than what is provided by the solar, it will pull from the utility grid. If the sun produces more than the site needs, then that overproduction is put back into the grid for a credit in a process known as net metering. Today, solar panels will be viable energy producers on your home for over 20 years. There is a federal tax credit available and also incentives available at the state level, which help to make the technology more affordable than ever. There are even no money down solar programs available. Contact Green Power Energy.
All right, so that's a nice video I like to show. It's a very simple, it's one of the better explanations, I think, to start people with for solar. So that's why I wanted to show you that. But let me just jump right in to some basic solar 101 stuff. And again, this recording will be available to you guys as well. All right, so solar 101. All right, so what is solar? Photovoltaic solar, guys. This is a great word. If you are in solar and you don't know this word, that's what you're doing. Photovoltaic. So it's 5 syllables, like photovoltaic. I used to do that with children, guys. Kids would come in. Before I used to do a lot of my meetings in Zoom, the kids, I'd be like, your parents are thinking about photovoltaic solar. Can you say photovoltaic? And kids would be like, photovoltaic. A lot of fun, just sort of a side thing. This is converting the sun's photons into light, which is different than thermosolar. We're not talking about thermosolar today. I have these in my house, hot water panels, where the sun heats the hot water. That's not what we're talking about. That's not what I've done the last decade. Plus, I've done photovoltaic solar, which is solar panels for electricity. So that's the difference there. Heat is the enemy of PV solar. So photovoltaic is PV. Heat is the enemy. A lot of people who are in the industry, they don't even realize that, like, on a sunny day where it's 40 degrees in Massachusetts, and if it's 95 degrees and humid in Miami, we're going to get more power on that sunny cold day than we are on the hot humid day. Heat is the enemy to energy and electricity, guys. So how does this work? The photovoltaic, it converts the sun's energy into voltage, similar to photosynthesis. The same way the sun hits a plant and it turns it into plant food, the plants eat it. That's what the sun is doing. It's turning the photons into electricity. It's a very simplistic overview, but kind of gives you the idea. So what's going on right now with the current utilities? Right now, homeowners have no choice. They're under a utility monopoly, and they have no choice where they get the electricity. The rates are unpredictable. They increase frequently. And again, they have no say on what it is. Imagine you got a mortgage, like with the interest rates now, and you had a variable rate mortgage, and it could go up any time that let's say the bank wanted them to go up. That'd be a pretty crappy situation. Now, some people say, what if, mortgage rates go up 2 or 3% and we panic? We've seen in some areas where rates went up 30%, 50% last year alone, and you have no choice on it. Renting expensive, dirty power. You pay your electric bill and nothing to show for it. Yeah, that's the difference between renting and owning something, right? If you rent an apartment for 20 years, you don't have anything to show after 20 years. You rent a house for 20 years, every single payment is equity. Totally different. All right, reasons utility rates increase. Same supply, more demand. Yeah. In most areas, we have decommissioned power plants, or we have the same or less power, but we have more people, more electricity use. So the simple law of supply and demand says when the demand goes up and the supply goes down or stays the same, the price goes up. So guys, I want you to write supply and demand this in the chat. This is a huge thing that we're seeing across the country. We simply don't have enough supply and demand. So right, supply and demand, that's why solar is needed, because we need simply more supply of electricity. It's not really more complicated than that in many ways, honestly, when it comes down to us. All economics come down to supply and demand, really. Expensive infrastructure. Yeah, we talked about old expensive infrastructure. Peak demand. I don't have time to get into peak demand today, other than to tell you in places like California and many other places in the country, the rate can sometimes double when it's a hot, sunny day, what you pay for electricity. And that's why we have rolling brownouts and blackouts, again, because we don't have enough supply during those times. Okay, average home power usage. Average single-family home across the U.S. uses between 8 to 12,000 kilowatt hours, kWh, annually. Kilowatt hours is how you charge on your electric bill, guys. In Texas, it's a little bit more because people have bigger homes and they're on AC all the time. In other parts of the country, maybe a little bit less. About 700 to 1,000 kilowatt hours monthly. On average, homeowners pay for solar already on their electric bill. Yeah. In most territories, there is a solar charge. It's like paying into Social Security, but you don't ever get to take advantage of it unless you go solar. How do you think those government incentives are paid for, guys? All right. I'm going to explain to you net metering, how this works, exactly how I explain to my clients. So guys, we're going to put these solar panels on your roof, and all the power that's produced by these solar panels belongs to you in your homes, goes directly to your appliances. Any extra power your home doesn't use is going to spin what's called a net meter backwards. It's a two-way meter, and it spins it backwards and sends that extra electricity back into the grid. Think of this as a solar electric bank account. That power belongs to you the same way your money belongs to you. Now, let's say that day your solar panels produce 40 kilowatt hours, but you only use 20. You would have sent a negative 20 kilowatt hours into the grid. However, you don't get charged daily on your electric bill. You get charged monthly. So let's talk about in the month of May, because month of May is, little heat, not too much heating, not too much cooling. Let's say in the month of May, your solar system produced 1,000 kilowatt hours, but you only use 600. That means you've overproduced 400 kilowatt hours. That's going to show up as a credit on your utility bill. That credit can be used in future months. What do I mean? The month of August comes around. You still produce 1,000 kilowatt hours. Let's just use that, say that. But now your solar system, now you need 1,200 kilowatt hours that month because you're using more power, because you're air conditioning and whatnot. Now you should owe the balance. You should owe 200 kilowatt hours worth of power to the utility company. You should owe them, right? But you're not, because you had a 400 kilowatt hour credit, so you don't owe anything that month. And that's how net metering works. In most territories, it just rolls over month to month, year to year. Now, this is different state by state, so I can't just give a blanket statement. So in some states, they'll have a payout. Some states, they won't. Some states, some territories, it's 1-to-1 net metering. Sometimes it's more complicated, but this is generally how it works. All right. Why solar? It's predictable. You avoid unpredictable utilities to cost. You take control, guys. Anybody that goes through my programs that works with me, the one thing that we'll talk a lot about are those emotional reasons why people do this. Yes, it's predictable. What is the emotional reason behind that? It's to have control. I want you to write control in the chat. Guys, this is a major emotional factor. When something is out of your control, that's scary. You feel like you're like a victim. You feel like you're powerless. But when you can take control of anything in life, it feels good. So I want you to write control, predictability. Feel good while doing good, right? That's another reason. We call these people, you can use this term, it's not mine, pocketbook environmentalists. People want to do good as long as it helps the pocketbook, right? Pocketbook environmentalist is a big thing that happens in this industry. It's like, well, as long as I'm not losing money, I'll do solar. Yeah, I've heard that a million times of people. Now, some people in some areas were like, oh, I need to see a lot of savings. That's not true. Like in Texas and other places where you have lower electric rates, there are many people, if they'll just say something as simple as this. Hey, man, if I can switch you to solar, give you control and predictability of a cleaner energy, even if you're not saving anything, would you be open to switching to solar just because it's better for your home? It's better for, better for everything. You'll feel good about it. It's like, yeah, of course I would. If it's not going to cost me anything and it's better, then why wouldn't I switch over, right? All right. But in most areas, you are saving money. So choice and freedom. So this is another thing. We've all seen Braveheart and movies like that where people fight wars because they don't have choice, right? Think of it up until now. Before solar, nobody you know, no business, no homeowner, nobody you know had a choice where they bought their electricity. Now, you may say, well, in my state, we have deregulated. Like, no. You don't know what you're talking about. Deregulated energy where you could buy third-party supply is only one part of the bill. And you think you really have a choice, but the power, if you think about the physical power line called the delivery and who you pay the bill to at the end of the month is the utility company. Even if you have a deregulated power, you're still paying the bill to the utility company. Not with solar. With solar, the panels are the supply. The delivery of the power is the wire from your roof down to your house. You're not just cutting out one thing, you're cutting it all out. Now, I just want to clarify that. I said you're cutting it all out. The goal is to get to 100% offset. You can't always do that, right? If someone uses a lot of power and they have a small roof or a small space for solar, then you're not going to get to 100% offset. But that's the goal right now. Well, always with your customers. And owning your own power. Stop renting electricity, owning your own power, guys. Again, what would you rather do? Pay, let's say, $2,500 a month in rent, and at the end of the year, you've paid 25 times 10, it'd be 25,000 plus 5,000, was it 30,000? Am I doing that math right? $30,000 in rent at the end of the year and have nothing to show for it, or you pay the same amount of money and all that goes towards buying, the equity of a house, not including the interest, right? Let's not be too technical, but you get what I'm saying here, right? Like there's a big difference in life between being an owner and a renter. All right, number one reason people go solar is obviously to save money. When you ask people, I've been surveying people for this for years, why do you want to go solar? I just want to save money. Let's see if I can save money, right? All right, other reasons people go solar, I'm going to fly through these, but these are super important emotionally. Everyone's different, guys. Self-reliance. All right, guys, before that, I want you to write save money because this is the number one reason people go solar. So write save money in the chat. I just want you to, at the end of the day, that is the number one reason. But all those others are important. All right. So we're going to have other reasons people go solar: self-reliance, self-sufficiency, reduce the number of household bills. In my house right now, I was thinking about this over the weekend. I was going through this with my wife, and we don't pay our heating, our cooling, our electricity. One of our vehicles is electric. All that is supplied for by the solar panels on the roof. So outside our internet and my mortgage on the house, then I don't really have any other bills, and streaming services, I realized too. But that's it. Prepping and disaster planning. Some people, that's important to them. Keeping up with the neighbors. Guys, this is huge. I can't tell you how many customers I've had personally over the years. I've seen people talk about how does the conversation go? Why are you looking into solar? Well, my neighbor did it. My brother did it. So-and-so did it. So I'm looking into it. Keeping up with the Joneses, guys, is huge. To be modern. I just want to modernize, upgrade my house, upgrade the home. Legacy. I am 70 years old. I want to leave the house to the kids, and I want to leave it in a great position for them. I want it to be something that's better. You get older people, first question I'll ask if someone's older, hey, what is your plan with the house? If they say leave it to the kids, legacy is what they're looking for. All right, hobby, engineer, professor types. When I get the guys who are like, I want to have this battery and a switch, and I want to be apocalypse proof and EMP proof. Like I've had customers that I've installed that have nuclear bomb proof, supposedly nuclear bomb proof solar panels. Not what the bomb drops on top of them, but like, the EMP won't knock them out and stuff. So yeah, those things are available too. So it's kind of cool. All right. Solar components. I'm going to try to get through this, guys. These are the major components in all solar systems. Solar panels producing DC power. That power is converted from DC to AC using inverters. Most of the times it's microinverters or power optimizers. We'll get into that in just a second. It's all on racking or a rackless system, and that sits on the roof and is monitored usually for 25 years. Photovoltaic solar panel. So there's a direct current DC panel. Anti-reflective tempered glass. Aluminum frame so it's light and it doesn't rust. Size about 5.5 by 3.5 feet, but the sizes vary. Now some panels are over 6 feet, so that it is different by manufacturer. They've actually gotten bigger over the years, and more efficient. Weight 30 pounds, 4 pounds per square foot. This is a great thing, guys. This is one of those things that like a lot of customers will ask. You always get the smart ass customer who's like, well, Brad, there's a lot of weight on the roof. And you'd be like, okay, yeah. How much do you weigh? They're like, well, I weigh 160, right? Okay, so 160 pounds on one spot, right? Solar panels, the weight is distributed all over the roof evenly and they're flat, right? So the average weight of a solar panel on the roof is equivalent to literally a bunch of small cats all over the roof because the weight is distributed, just 4 pounds per square foot. So it's very minimal weight on any point on that roof. So it's very safe. I've literally done thousands of systems, guys. I've never had an issue with weight. I've never had an issue with weight, but I've also done a structural engineering report on every single system. So it's not like I'm putting, solar panels on like toothpick homes or anything. So, all right. And the solar panels come with a 25-year warranty as well. That's usually supplied by the manufacturer. These warranties do vary. And there are other warranties we'll talk about later. Okay. Solar inverter types. Again, string inverters, microinverters, string inverters with power optimizers, solar edge, and Enphase. Panel, this is a big thing, panel level monitoring. It used to be you put on one solar panel, and if the panel next to it got shaded, you would kind of like that Christmas tree effect where like you'll lose a whole string. Guys, it hasn't been that way in like almost 10 years. Like if you're thinking like that, most systems have moved beyond that technology. I'm not saying it doesn't exist, but that description of the way it works isn't really true anymore. And there's lots of reasons for that. I don't really have time to dive deep into it, but it's just not really the way they work these days. The most common systems right now, okay, I was going to say most common is Solar Edge and Enphase, but I guess that's a different slide. All right, system components, bases, and mounts. Everything's 100% waterproof, guys. There used to be a difference. People say, well, there's a difference between a watertight and a waterproof system, and the waterproof is better. There's no such thing as watertight anymore. Everything out there that's UL approved for solar is waterproof. There's lots of different companies that do these. Most of them are tested for Category 3 hurricane, hail at like 110 miles per hour, all sorts of things like that. Now there are frameless systems, but this is a good before and after system. You can see the feet put on, the flashing, it's sealed, goes underneath the shingle, the rails, kind of like a metal bed frame. And then you can see this lower left picture, the panels being put on. I like that before and after of the panels being put right onto that metal bed frame. They'll clamped and secured down. All right. What else is common to solar? Site evaluation. So when people go solar, you do a turnkey and worry-free installation. Guys, everybody is busy. You're busy. They're busy. Their life is going to be not less busy. It's always, everyone's like, I love this. People would say to me, like customers, well, maybe in a few weeks or a month, I'll have more time. No, they won't. You think their life is going to be different in a month? No, everyone's busy. So that's why don't worry, Mr. Customer. We're going to take care of everything for you. We're going to take care of the site evaluation, the permitting, the paperwork, the installation, inspections, all that's included. Don't worry. I'm going to take care of you. You can sit back and relax as we take care of this for you. Guys, that's a big deal. Customers understand that. All right, quick FAQs. Will solar affect the value of the home? What do you guys think? Yes or no in the chat? Yes or no in the chat? Will solar affect the value of the home? You think it'll be more or less, guys, with solar? More or less? Put it in the chat. Benjamin says 4%. What do you guys think? More or less? More? Suki says more. All right. The answer, guys, is yes. Solar increased the average home value by $20,000. This isn't my opinion. This is based off 4 different studies. The National Berkeley Labs did a study, and they came out with a number of $18,000 on average per solar home. And that was a study of 10 years of over 100,000 homes with solar. Then the National Realtor said called BS on that study. National Realtor said, we don't believe that. So they did their own study, and guess what they came out? They came out with the number of 20,000. Then Zillow said, well, I don't know about that study. Let's do our own. And Zillow study matched the National Realtor study when they looked at the homes with solar. Why? Why? It's not complicated. 2 homes, neighbor by neighbor, side by side. Let's say they're like in every other way. One home, $350 a month electric bill. The neighbor's house, $0 a month electric home. Which home is more attractive to a buyer? Right? Makes sense, guys, right? And what the National Realtors said, it was for every dollar you save on electricity, you adds value to the home. So they actually have a mathematical equation for this, guys. All right, homes sell faster with solar too, according to those same studies, for the reasons we just said. Does solar without a battery provide backup during a power outage? Yes or no? What do you think, guys? Yes or no? Do you think solar provides power during a power outage? Benjamin says no. The answer, guys, is anyone else? What do you guys think? Does it provide power in a power outage? The answer is no. Solar does not provide backup power during a power outage. If you want it, you have to have a battery. The reason for this is if solar power, all solar systems have automatic shut off when the power goes out. If this didn't happen, what would happen is after the power outage, the utility worker would be on the line. They'll get zapped because there'll be electricity coming from the house, and that would not be good, right? So this is a feature. However, as we know, there's a lot of different power walls and all that other stuff, and energy storage systems now where you can have backup power. Okay. Again, yeah, battery storage. Okay, almost done with FAQs. Will solar affect my roof? Yes or no? What do you guys think? Is this going to affect the roof? What's it going to do to my roof? I have a new roof. What's it going to do to my roof? Will it affect my roof? What do you guys think? Is it going to affect the roof? Yes or no? This is a trick question, guys. I'm not asking this in the best way. What do you guys think? Is it going to affect the roof? Yes or no? No? Everyone's scared to answer because I'm telling you guys it's a trick question. Will it affect the roof? The answer is absolutely. Solar is like an umbrella, and it will protect your roof from the snow, the rain, and the sun. A solar system, the most damaging thing to a roof is weathering. It's in the sun. It's 90 degrees out in the summer. That roof is 110, 120. It's baking. You go stand out on the roof, go put your bathing suit on and stand on your roof for 12 hours on a sunny day and see how your skin feels, guys. That's what happens to your roof every single day. So it's like the couch on a carpet effect. That's the way I explain it to my customers. Like if you take solar panels off after 10 years, that roof is a different color than the other parts of the roof because it looks brand new underneath where those solar panels are. All right. Does the government give solar panels away for free? Because we've all seen the ads. We've all seen the ads. In my state, the government's going to give them to you for free. Is that real, guys? Does the government give you solar panels for free? Who thinks it's yes or no? Do they give them? No. No. Really? Come on, man. Of course they get them for free. The government, well, of course the government's just going to come and put, a $30,000 solar system. What are you talking about? No. No. They're not giving you it for free. However, you already pay for solar on your electric bill in most areas, not all. So if you don't go solar, it's like paying into Social Security and never taking advantage of it. So they don't give them away for free, but there are a lot of great incentive programs, but it is not free solar. Anybody I work with, I would just ask one thing of you. If you're in this industry, going to be in this industry, I love this industry and I want it to be seen as something that's respectable. I want it to be something that's honest. So you use the right language. There's a big difference between saying we have a zero down solar program, right? Because that's true, than saying we have a free solar program. So it's using the right language, guys. There's no need to sort of bend the truth. All right, guys, that's what we have for the Solar 101. I actually had a market overview, which I don't think we're going to have time for today. But I do want to end on a real quick, not quick, sort of follow-up on what we did yesterday. So yesterday, I asked you guys, I gave you some homework. The homework I asked you to do yesterday was to look at figure out what is your why. What is your goal? And I said, if money is your why, it's never going to be good enough for you. You have to have a reason why you do things. And depending on where you are in life, I gave a little example behind me. I don't know if you could see the two orchids behind me. So this one here, this orchid has multiple flowers, it's blooming, it's very beautiful, right? And sometimes this is what we want, right? We want this. But I was looking at the other one I have, little baby orchid, and I don't know if you can see it. Guys, those are going to be flowers soon. You can see the little guys right there. Sometimes in life, we're here, sometimes we're there. That's life, right? But you have to have the vision, even if you don't have those little buds, even if you're just a seed, right? You have to have in your mind a vision of what you want. I want to be, no, why do you, and I said yesterday, 7 levels deep. Why do you want to look like that? Well, I want to be this beautiful, whatever creation, right? Did anybody do the homework yesterday? I'm curious. Did anybody actually sit down and ask themselves why they want to do this? What is their why for 2024? What is their goal? For some people, it could say, I want to buy my first house. Someone says, well, I want to be able to provide for my family in a certain way. I want to be able to attend all their games. Someone may say, well, I want a Lamborghini. Well, if you want a Lamborghini, why? Why is a Lamborghini important to you? Did anybody, I'm very open in the chat, or even someone who's willing to go on the hot seat right now. What is your whys, guys? Who's willing to put themselves out there on what their why or their goal for 2024 is?
I'm willing.
All right, thank you and welcome. Is it what is your name?
My name is Norwood Hurst.
Norwood? Welcome, Norwood. Where you at, Norwood?
I am in Los Angeles. Well, I'm in Pomona, California. I'm coming from Pomona, California. I'm on a job right now.
Did I see you in front of a Solar Edge inverter earlier?
No, it wasn't a Solar Edge inverter. It was I was doing a main panel upgrade.
Oh, I saw some
I'm up for
stickers.
inspection.
I saw some stickers on there.
Yeah, probably some solar stickers. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. So welcome, Norwood. So
Thank you.
what is what's your why for 2024? What are you looking for? What is your thing that motivates you right now?
Well, I have 2 major whys. The first one is to be a kingdom financer.
Mm-hmm.
I really have a desire to finance the kingdom of God, and that's why you see my title is Blameless Honor.
Yep.
I'm in ministry, so I do that as well. I have a solar. I started off selling solar, and I sold a few deals, not really smacking it, not really knocking anything out the park, but I'm traditionally an installer. I'm an electrician by trade, so recently I just wanted to move into another state. So one is to be a kingdom financer, and the other is to break the curse of poverty in my family. So I want to remove that from the generational line out of my family. And I think the Lord.
What would that look like? What would the curse broken actually look like?
Well, the curse broken would be independent of a job, having generational wealth set up. I think that solar provides enough opportunity to generate enough revenue to structure things in my family the way they should be. I don't think solar is the end all to it, but I think it's just going to be able to help me generate enough cash flow, working capital, cash flow, things like that, where I can make different investments and build a structure where my children's children won't have to be in the situations that my forefathers came out of and that I was born into.
So yesterday we talked about something called 7 levels deep.
Okay.
I want to do a little bit of this exercise with you. Have you heard of this before, 7 levels deep?
No, I haven't.
Great exercise. I learned this from Dean Graziosi. No, sorry. Is it Dean? Okay, maybe. I think it was Dean or Tony Robbins, but in one of their trainings. So you said you want to get out of that generational poverty.
Yes.
And I asked you why you wanted that, what that would look like. So, why is that important for you, though, for them to get out of generational? So why is that important to get out of the generational poverty?
Okay. The first reason is so I can be a kingdom financer, because I want to finance the kingdom of God. That's the very first reason. And then you can't do that in an impoverished state. So not at the level that I wish to. So
Why do you want to be a kingdom financer? It's level 2.
okay, level 2. I want to be a kingdom financer because the Lord has called me into ministry. So it takes finance to move in ministry. The Lord has called my wife, and the congregation that we belong to is doing a lot of things to bring forth the gospel. So I
what
want
would
to
it
be
mean
able
to
be a
you?
contributor.
Sorry to interrupt, but what would it mean to you if you could get to that place, you could be a kingdom financer? What would that mean to you? How would that feel?
It feel awesome. It feel awesome. You know, it. I would feel I would feel appreciative.
You'd feel appreciative. Okay.
Yeah,
Why would you feel appreciative?
because the Lord would have answered prayers.
Okay.
That would be a prayer that was been answered. And I would just be so humbly appreciative to the Lord for that, for having me have that to be the one that actually was able to accomplish some of the things that have been tried to accomplish in our family for a very long time.
What are those things in your family that you've been trying to accomplish specifically?
Home ownership,
Okay.
that's one. Certitude, really be into ministry and serving the Lord.
Let's pause on
Doesn't
the
exist.
first one. Because we got to keep it
Right.
simple for the group. Why is home ownership important to you and your family?
Because ownership is important. I like you don't. There's no return on renting. There's no
Mhm.
return on investment for renters. Um,
What does that
so
mean
every
to you,
dollar.
though? What does that mean to you in your family? Like, what is that
Oh,
feeling it brings to you
for
as you can own?
so for example, right? I want my children to be able to benefit off the things that I put our finances to. Um,
So how would
when
that make
you
you feel if your children could benefit from the things you could put your finances to? As a father, how would that make you feel?
accomplished.
Yeah.
Um, as a father, it makes me feel accomplished. Uh, humble. I would be definitely humble.
So that's great. So this is what we call 7 levels deep. Because the end of the day, what you want to get to, it's not just a picture of the house. It's not just a picture of the financing. There's something called a mind-body coherence where your
Uh-huh.
mind and heart come into alignment. Now, depending on your background, you could say mind and spirit, however you want to think of it. But the idea is that you have this coherence and you bring them together. Now, for you, Norwood, I want to do an exercise with you and I want to do it with everybody here.
Okay.
Right now, I want everyone to think of what that thing would be. Now, I shared with you, my goal years ago was I wanted to be a homeowner. That meant so much to me for my wife and I to have a home, to raise our family, and not just any home. My dream was like, I wanted to be in a place where there was forest behind the house. I wanted to have solar panels because I was in the solar industry. Those two things were really important. My wife wanted what I thought was weird. She wanted a well and fruit trees. Like, I thought that was strange, but that's what she wanted. I talked to one guy, Jamie. I mentioned him yesterday. For him, he just wanted to have time. I saw David wrote time. He just wanted to have time to go to his kids' sports games. And he became a coach and do those things. That's what meant to. My friend Mike, actually, I have 2 friends, Mike Ash and my other friend Michael Martinez. Both of them told me, I said, what are your dreams? Mike Ash said, I want a Mercedes. So last year he got his Mercedes. He took a picture and sent it to me. And from his solar. My other friend Mike Martinez, he's one of those high roller types, and he has a lot of pictures of him on Instagram driving around in his Lamborghini, 'cause that's what's important to him, right?
Mhm.
Each of us are different. But for each of us, we're going to do it with Nora, but I want each of us to do something right now. This isn't a religious exercise. This is something to just help you focus your mind daily, and it's something you can come back to. So close your eyes, and I want you to imagine, let's say Nora gets his house. He just bought the house. He's got the keys in his hand. He just pulls into the driveway with his family, right? I want you to imagine in your head, what does that house look like? What color is it? Does it have a grass lawn in front of it? Does it have a picket fence? Does it have a garage? Is it a 2-car garage, 3-car? Like, what does that house look like? What are the kids' reactions? I don't know the age of the kids, but maybe he can imagine the kids at a certain age being excited and running in the house and playing in the backyard and running around with the dog, right? And each having their own bedroom where they have their toys and other things in their rooms. And maybe he looks over at his wife, and you could just see how happy and proud they both are together. And that feeling of accomplishment, that humility he feels, that his gratefulness and thankfulness to God for his sake, for his background, how he feels in that moment. And that's what I want him to focus on. For you, whether it's the car, whether it's say, I want time freedom to do solar sales on a beach, or to be hanging on a beach and be closing deals, which I have one friend who does that. If you're on the beach, how does it feel to be on that beach? I feel peaceful. I want you to name that emotion, guys. Whether it's, I feel so proud of myself. I feel so peaceful. I feel so happy. Name the emotion. Name the emotion. See the details. See the house, and then allow yourself to experience how you feel when you see that image in your mind. You name it. Oh, I feel like I finally reached my goal. I've accomplished something. I've made my parents proud. I've made my family proud. To some others, like Kobe Bryant, I proved to everyone else who thought I couldn't do it. That was Kobe's motivation, right? He had a list of the 56 guys who were higher in his high school class. They said they were better athletes. Those 56, whatever the number was. And he wouldn't stop till he became the #1 prospect. Whatever that thing that motivates you, hold on to it and name it. Right now, open your eyes. I want you to come back to us, guys. What we just did was called a mind-heart coherence exercise. And the most powerful part of this exercise is that you have that vivid imagination of it, and you allow yourself to feel. Your body, physiologically, this isn't like anything else. This is like pure physiology, how your body reacts. Your body, if you think of something that scares you, your body will release cortisol. Your body doesn't know if there's a tiger chasing you or not because you're afraid of something, right? I'm afraid to pay my bills. Your body gets nervous, scared, stressed. That's the same physiological response when a tiger's chasing you. So what does that mean? In other words, we have the power within ourselves to create physiological responses that are real. So when you do an exercise like this, what you're doing is you're putting yourself in a state where your goal and your dream matches what's in your heart, the feeling, and you create an actual physiological response in your body. So every time you go back to that, it's like literally like a dopamine kick. Literally, you're giving yourself a kick and it feels good. And that is something you can write down. This is one of your homeworks, guys. I want you to do this. You write down that vision, detail by detail. Again, if it's a car, what color is a car? What is the brand? What is the make? What material are the seats? When you get in that car, you rev the engine. How does it feel to hear that engine revving? If you're Jamie, how does it feel to coach your daughter's soccer game rather than missing all the games because you didn't have time before? How does it feel in that moment? And you write that feeling down. And then each day, look at that piece of paper. You can mount it on the wall. You could just think about it. I'll be honest, I have those things written down. I don't always look at them every day, but I think about them. And here's one thing, those things will change, right? They will. If you get the house, then it's like, what's next, right? But it gives you a goal that you keep pushing forward towards until you reach it. So guys, that's your homework for today, is to write down in detail what your why is. And then to write down the emotion that goes with it. And then if you're open, if you're brave, maybe do that exercise on your own and allow yourself to envision and to feel what it is. And guys, don't make this an intellectual exercise. The second half of that mind-heart coherence is so important towards sustainable growth, action. Because here's one thing we know, guys, if you keep on doing things the same, nothing will change. We talked about this yesterday. And the most important thing to change, there's been all these studies worldwide. The most important thing, people say, how do I become stronger? How do I become more wealthy? How do I become more, like all these studies, right? And some people say, oh, it's discipline. Some people say it's a plan. Some people, there's a lot of things. You know what the number one thing that causes change? It's a change of identity. When you start to see yourself as someone or something. I actually saw this just last night. There was a comedian, actually. I was watching his video, and he's talking to this guy. The guy goes, what would you do if I offered you a cigarette? He goes, did you ever smoke? He's like, yeah, I used to smoke. He's like, what would you do if I offered you a cigarette? He goes, I would just tell you I don't want it. He's like, good. Because you don't identify yourself as a smoker anymore. But guess what? Someone who's struggling, trying to quit would do. You know what they would do? They would look at it and say, well, what brand? What brand is that cigarette, right? Right? They're kind of like asking a question as if they may or may not do it. Why? Because that person still identifies themselves as a smoker. But once you make that identity shift, someone can hold that cigarette right in front of you. You don't even care. Because in your mind, I'm not a smoker anymore. That thing is not for me. So when you change your identity and you start to see yourself in that dream, guess what happens to your body? Your body actually starts to believe those things are real. Now, I used to struggle with this whole thing. Well, well, isn't that living in a false reality? No. That's no more false reality than if you want to become there's this great, amazing study. And I'll end on this. ESPN did this great, amazing study of free throw shooting in the NBA. Any NBA fans here? I'm a big NBA fan, right? NBA, if you're an NBA fan, guys. And we all know of Shaq Attack. Shaq could not hit a free throw. We all know of that, right? And there was this great study. And what they found out was some of these taller players, would have lower shooting averages from a free throw line, which is that shot where you can shoot the ball, no one's in front of you, you just get a free shot at the hoop. The best guys in the NBA, the very best, the Steph Currys can shoot 90%. The average guys maybe in the NBA 75%. The terrible guys are 50, 60%. So they said, well, maybe tall people have trouble because the arc is less. So they did a whole study on the arc. And they said, well, it's not necessarily true because you have guys like Dirk Nowitzki, who's 7 feet tall, who was a great free throw shooter. So that wasn't necessarily true. They said, well, maybe it's the guys who shoot, they have more stability and they have more consistency, the guys who hit more. And that is true, except there's this guy, Andre Drummond, I think it was the guy in the study, who in practice could hit 90%. So he could take 100 free throws in practice and hit 90. In a game, he could only hit 60 out of 100, 60%, which is a huge difference. So why could Andre Drummond do it in practice and not in the game? So the study came down, and then they talked to Steph Curry, and they talked to all these really good shooters. And they said to these guys who were missing, they said, when you go in front of all those people, that big stadium of people, and you go to shoot, and you know what those guys are thinking? Man, I don't want to embarrass myself in front of all these people. I better hit the shot, right? You know what Steph Curry thinks when he goes to shoot a free throw? He thinks, bend my knees, elbow up, flick the wrist. Flick the wrist. He doesn't think about whether he's going to make it or miss it. He thinks of the physical mechanics his body has to do. So he envisions his future. And when you envision the future, you allow the body to do it. You allow the body to actually do that action. So when you envision your future and you feel that, so Steph, things like that, like, and this is like real quick, Allen Iverson used to do this as well. He used to envision his future where he used to practice like a spin move that he'd never done before in practice. And at the game, he would be able to do it. Because he would just imagine himself doing it over and over again. And I think the most powerful example, one of the most powerful examples of this was Jim Carrey's got a great story when he was like a broke, out of work comedian, Hollywood actor, just trying to make it. He had never made a payday, never anything. He said he wrote himself a check for $10 million, paid it to Jim Carrey, put it in his wallet, and he used to drive up to like, I don't know, LA, maybe, Norwood knows. But he used to drive to this place that overlooks the city on the hills, and he used to look down at the hills, and he used to just imagine himself as this famous actor. Until he would do it until he felt like his body believed it. And when people, he's got great stories on this all over the internet. And he credits that mindset is what got him through the tough times, is what got him when he got his first $10 million payday for Dumb and Dumber. He credits all that back to the activities and the mindset he took. So guys, that's why I'm giving you guys this homework today, because there's countless examples of what, when you control your mindset and get because guys, it's not just your mind, it's getting that, removing the stress, right? And getting your body in alignment, your mind and heart, everything in alignment, your spirit in alignment, so you can focus on what truly matters to you. So, okay, guys, that's it for today. Didn't quite cover some of the things I wanted to. We'll try to, there's just so much to cover, guys. But tomorrow, we'll be back at 1 p.m. We're going to be focusing on a little bit more about the solar market, and we're going to jump into lead gen as well. And I know for a lot of people, as we mentioned, this is one of the hottest and hardest topics in the solar market. So we're going to go deep into that. For those of you who are VIP, we will be doing our VIP session now. Now, if you do want to continue and stay on for VIP, you can stay. If you have already paid, just stay and we'll put you in the VIP room. Leah, if you can drop the VIP link in the chat. Anybody, if you want the VIP, and again, the VIP comes with, the question and answer each day. We work on the micro tasks together each day. I think you guys saw how powerful that was for Norwood. And it also comes with the lifetime access to the videos, and it comes with the one-on-one planning session after all this as well. If you want to join, let us know. If you are not a VIP member and you do want to stick around for that, and you're in the middle of filling out that form, sometimes we don't see that come through instantaneously. So if you just if you're doing it right now, as soon as you've done it, just drop us a message in the chat and say, hey, I just filled that out. And then we can put you in the VIP room. Otherwise, guys, please show up a little bit early tomorrow. I got a lot of great stuff. Every time I share on leads and lead generation, I don't care if the people who have been in the industry for a decade, they always come back and be like, damn, I wish I was doing those things years ago or doing them now. I learned a ton. So I believe you guys will get a lot out of tomorrow's session. And I hope you're also seeing that my promise to you, what I told you in the first few days, is you would see the potential of this industry and if it could be right for you after the first day or two. So moving forward, it's really going to be like nuts and bolts about solar and how to get leads, how to close deals, how to get paid, all that good stuff. So, all right, guys, we're going to start the VIP. But if you're not joining, I'll see you tomorrow. Come a little early. I'd love to get to know you guys and talk with you guys before the session. That's actually one of my favorite parts of doing this, is talking with you guys. So hope to see you guys 12:45 tomorrow my time, which is That's Eastern. Okay, guys, we're going to jump into VIP right now.
You should get a breakout room invite from Leah. If you're
Yeah,
there.
so we're going to put you into the VIP breakout room. And again, if you want to join the breakout, you can click on the link to join that right now. And if you do that, just let us know. Avi, welcome, buddy.
We heard the recording at the same time as you said it, so
Avi, welcome. You're muted.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm trying to mute the TV here also.
Okay. Where are you at, Avi?
Well, actually, I'm here over in Israel right now. I'm visiting my family.
Oh,
I'm
great.
kind of in this area, but I'm flying back to Los Angeles on Saturday.
Where in Israel are you?
Center, next to Tel Aviv.
Tel Aviv. Okay.
Center of Israel. Yeah.
Yeah. I was there. Was it 2022? No, 2021. I think I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was my first
Good,
time
yeah.
going.
Came to visit the family, and then I'm coming back.
Yeah. Is it? I didn't even realize Israel's even open to tourism right now with everything that's going on.
Actually, my family, we live here. I'm just relocating and relocating to Los Angeles.
Okay.
So
What
I
were you
just came
doing
here
before for work?
in Israel, I worked as, I can say, an electrician for the airport, Tel Aviv airport. I worked over there as an electrician, and now I'm working as an electrician with solar, also in the solar business in Los Angeles.
Okay. Now, did your like electrical sort of licensing and all that, did that transfer over to the US or how did that work?
No. So I partnered up with a friend of mine that's been living in the US for 23 years already. But I'm working on it. I'm a practical electrical engineer here in Israel. So I'm gonna check it out now when I'm coming back. I'm gonna check if I can do something like that, what you said.
Okay. Nice. So what is your goal right now? What are you looking to do? What are your goals?
So the business, the solar business it's still in the basics. I just started right now, like before I came here, I had like a couple of leads. So I took their electrical bill and I tried at least to build up a proposal for these houses that I had. And I still don't have the team to go do the installation and everything. So actually I'm using a friend and somebody else that has a solar company so that we can work together.
Okay.
So when I return, I'm gonna see exactly where we're at with these houses. But I really believe in the solar business, and I want to make it really good. I want to be really good, very successful, and I know I'm gonna reach it. But still, I'm still in doing the baby steps, and I'm trying to find someone like you, a good mentor that can help me make it maybe a little bit larger, more steps, not baby steps.
Right. Yeah. Help you kind of avoid the mistakes and avoid the learning curve. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's great. When we did that exercise, the 7-level deep, if you mind sharing what you had in your heart, what you imagined?
Again, I didn't understand you. I'm sorry.
When we were doing the exercise at the end, I asked you to picture what you wanted from your life. Do you mind sharing what you thought of?
Well, just to have really true confidence in the future, to be, not to worry about too much about the future. That's basically the true where I'm looking forward to.
Okay. So like
Yeah,
a peace of mind.
yeah, you can say that also, of course.
Okay. Is there actually an image of what that looks like though?
In my mind, yes.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why I like to share that exercise because it makes it something tangible we can look at every day. And yeah. Okay. And any questions or anything we went over today?
Well, no, because those you went over the basics kind of, so I'm familiar with that. Um, I'm a little bit a step ahead more, so I'm gonna wait for tomorrow, the day after, to see where we're gonna reach.
Okay.
Yeah, and we'll go over the things once we reach them. So I'm still following you, and I'm gonna still listen, and I'm with you for the next couple of days,
Cool.
and we'll see.
Nice. Yeah, we're gonna be diving deep over the next couple days. And yeah. So actually I just had an idea. If you want to do this, one of the goals I wanted to do was do an actual solar consultation walkthrough with an actual real home and electric bill. Do you have a house you like me to do that with?
So I already went to these houses that I told you. So I don't have something really right now. A house that I have electrical bill. We already sent the proposal, and I already told you I'm working with somebody that I had to give him to go ahead in with the
It wouldn't
proposal.
be,
So
this is not for you. The purpose of this is just to share with the group. I'm literally going to show the group the house, how many, show them the
I can
proposal.
show you the electrical bill, of course.
Yeah. If you want to do that,
Yeah.
send that to me if you're okay with that. And what,
Yeah, I can send you the bill, the electrical bill that I have right now. That I have actually. I also set up a proposal. I tried it out. So let me send it to your email.
Sure.
Hold on. Let me do Brad.
And would you mind role playing that with me, with the group? You pretending to be the homeowner?
Yeah, of course.
All right, great.
Come on, Brad. Okay, here it is. Okay. The- Let me add this. Run. Okay, I'm sending you an email with the two electrical bills. Okay. I
Okay.
tried to earlier. I wanted to join the Zoom meeting with my computer, but now we're on the phone. So tomorrow I'm gonna join with the computer, but somehow nobody let me in with the
Oh,
computer
no.
connection. So it doesn't matter. So I sent you the email because otherwise I
Hold
would
on,
have shared my screen.
I'm just checking to make sure I got it. Oh yeah, I see it. Let me just open the attachments, make sure I can. Wait a minute, what's going on with these attachments? That's weird. I see the attachments. Let me try
But you
opening
can
them from
open
my,
them.
let me try opening them from my computer. I don't know why on my phone. They're just blank, but maybe it's something to my phone right now. Yeah, it's just showing me a blank square on my phone.
Really?
Oh yeah, no, I see him now. I don't know why that is. I see him on my computer. Okay, so it looks like yeah, use 1600 kilowatt hours.
Yes, about 1600.
Yeah, is this two meters?
Nope.
Okay. All right, so about $400 current charges. Oh, it's a previous balance. Oh, previous, okay, no. Current charges was 449. Okay. All right, yeah, this is good.
You can see at page 3, you can see exactly everything. 1620 kilowatt hours.
Yep, I see that. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Avi,
Yeah, so this is
while he's looking at that, quick question for you.
Yes.
Because I'm on the marketing end of this. Where did you hear about this, the challenge?
Well, I've been following Brad for a while now.
Oh, okay. Okay, gotcha.
I've seen him and I've been following, and I missed out on the previous sessions that you guys did.
Back in November.
So yeah, yeah, November.
So you're on the email list is how you heard about this.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
cool. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, so this owner, actually, I met him because of one of our I also do electrical work in Los Angeles, so that's how we reached him, and he told me, hey, you know what, let's see, throw me some kind of a proposal for the solar. And then he sent me over the bill, and I checked it. I think I have also the proposal. I think I made a proposal for this one. I don't really remember yet.
Yeah, don't
But,
worry. I'll put a proposal together. I'm just going to put
Yeah,
something simple together for
we
everybody.
did something. I think we did something. I don't remember. I think it was 8 kilowatt system.
Okay.
That's what I think we came up. The only issue that I had with it's a 2-story. It's it's 2-story house, but only on one side there's the 2-story. So above the living room area, this is a 1-story regular house, but he has bless you.
Yep.
So on the house is like the other half of the house, it's a 2-story, and the main issue is that his house is pointed east and west. On part of the house is pointed east and west, and then you have the 2 stories is north and south, something like that. And he told me, listen, the only thing that I have a problem, I don't want it, the panels, I don't like how they look when they install them. And also he told me, listen, I don't want it to be on the front of the house that everybody's gonna come drive by and gonna see the solar in front. So first of all, I had to explain to him I explained to him the benefits of the solar. Of course, you're paying DWP. Why not already, if you're paying, if you're already paying for the power, at least buy the system, buy a solar, so you can have, something, you're gonna have some benefit. It's gonna be yours. Anyways, you're paying for power, so pay something that's gonna it's gonna belong to you. We talked a lot, and also the visualization of the modules on the roof. I told him it's not gonna look like how you described it, because I told him there are options to put like a skirt around the system, so it looks like it's like implemented into the roof. I mean, everything looks kind of flat. So I also explained to that part. Also explained, but still, I didn't discuss him after I sent him the proposal.
Okay.
He's planning to pay. He's looking to pay cash, but at the beginning when we talked, he said that, hey, I heard that today there's a option to no money down and this and that, PPA. And I explained to him also a little bit of PPA, but I'm still in the beginning, and that's what I need. I don't have the confidence. That's what I can only say. I tried to do my best.
Okay. All right. I think you handled it really well. Did you send them the proposal? Like, when did you send them the proposal? Was it like after you talked?
Last week.
Were you on the phone with them or on a call with them when you did the proposal, or?
I didn't go over the proposal. I just sent him it. I sent him the proposal. It's well, it's somebody that we already know. So I actually sent him the proposal. I explained it to him really fast. It wasn't that I dived into it to explain to him. I showed him about the system, 8 kilowatt system, I think it was, and he saw the price. Of course, I told him you have 30% of tax incentives with it. So it was just a basic proposal.
You mind if I give you a suggestion on that?
Yes, of course.
When you're doing it, you'll have one of the things I look at and we're going to talk about is close rates. So the average close rate for a solar sales rep in the United States is about 18%, which is not good, but that's average. You want your close rates to be successful and do well to be minimum 30%. And if you're good, you should be having no problems hitting 30, 35%, even 30, 35, 40. One of the biggest techniques that will catapult that close rate is you make sure you never only send a proposal when you're actually meeting with someone. So let's say you have a meeting tonight, for example, you say tonight at 6 o'clock, and this customer says, send me the proposal before so I can review it. The way you handle that 100% of the time, not most of the time, is you say, oh yeah, I'll have it ready for you by tonight. When we meet, I'll go over with you the proposal. And it gives you what happens and why this is so powerful psychologically. For one, it makes them commit to a time sitting with you in order to get that information, right? Number two is they have, 20 or 30 questions that they haven't thought of, and they won't be able to ask you those questions unless they're sitting with you. So when you go through the proposal, you can break down all of those things for them, as you want to explain them. And that's the one thing that there's a term in sales and in life called imprinting. And we'll talk about this in our training, but imprinting is whatever people think first or hear first or see first is what they believe. So we'll talk about this from a lead gen point of view. If you tell someone in your marketing you can get free solar, then they're going to think free solar forever. So then when you come and say, well, I have a zero down financing option, they're going to say, well, I thought it was free. I thought the government, so they've been imprinted the wrong message and they'll never want to buy, right? Mm-hmm. If they read that proposal and the only thing they look at is the bottom line. Do you remember what the bottom line was? The total price?
About 30,000 it was.
Right. So if the only thing they think was $30,000, right? That's it. But if you now say, the first thing you say to them is, hey, let me explain to you how this works. You have a total system cost, and this is something one of the things we teach, which is show, not set. To pricing, you show, incentives, you say. So when you're in the proposal, you see right there at the top, if you're in the person, you can point to it. If it's on a computer, you can put the mouse on it. This is the price. Of this, you're going to get a $10,000 federal tax credit, right? In addition, in the state of California, you're going to get this other incentive here. This is how much you're going to be saving on electricity, which is equals to, and then you say the number. And then you say, then you can say, if it's a cash point of view, this means your system is, at the end of the first year, this is going to be the net system price, and you point to it, right? So now what are they going to remember from that? At the end of the day, they're going to remember, I'm going to get $10,000 back because that's what you said and showed, right? It's more powerful, right? So anything that you imprint on the person is what they remember the most. So in other words, so if it's a cash proposal, they may just care about how quickly does this pay for itself, right? So you may have an equation and say, well, this system is going to pay for itself in 6 years, 7 years, right? So whatever that may be. Plus, it's going to add, a system this size on average maybe adds about $20,000 to $30,000 in value to your home on top of that. So just what it's adding in value to the home offsets that. But again, if you can't say and explain these things to someone when they're with you, if they have one negative imprint, which is 30,000 too much, right? like, it doesn't matter at that point after you're just playing defense, right?
Yeah,
So-
I get you.
Yeah, so you want to be playing offense the whole time. When I teach people to go through it with a customer, like you saw when we talked about, is it going to affect my roof? Like, I don't let the customer have that objection, right? The customer, I know because I've done thousands of these, every single customer has the same 10 or 15 questions. They don't change. Is it going to affect my roof? Absolutely. It's going to protect the roof. What's it going to do to the resale value? We call it the solar dominoes. You knock these all over one at a time, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, every single excuse they don't have, and then they start asking buying questions, right? How long will it take me to get this installed? You know, what type of payment terms do you have? Right? Those are buying questions, right? So, because they don't, and sometimes they may, follow up and ask the same question, like, how do you waterproof it? And it's like, okay, fine. But that's why there's a lot of power in always meeting with the homeowner. So simply put, the main suggestion to start is when a homeowner asks for it, it's just as simple as saying, okay, I believe I can have this ready by Tuesday at 6 p.m. Is that going to work for you? Or Tuesday or Wednesday? And what works better for you on either day, morning or afternoon? They say, oh yeah, Wednesday afternoon. Great. So let's meet Wednesday morning. How about 10 or 11? 11, great. All right, I'll have everything ready for you on that day. I just need your electric bill. I need this, right? And that way, and that's the other thing we'll talk about in the training is there's about 25 questions. It sounds like a lot, but it's like 5-10 minutes of questions that you asked the customer before. So you're telling that customer, oh, I'm asking you these questions, so I'll have everything I need ready for you. So one of those questions, like how many people live in the house? Why do you think that's an important question?
Yeah, of course, for the consumption.
Right. Now, let me ask you this. If you have they say 4 people, what does that mean to you when you hear 4 people? Like, what do you think? Who do you think's in the house?
The parents and 2 kids.
Right. But what if those
Yeah.
kids are 17 and 18 versus 3 and 4?
Exactly.
What does that
Of
mean?
course.
If you have high school
Yeah.
kids, you can anticipate the bill to go down. Right. But if you have kids that are like younger, you can tell them, well, your bill's probably going to go up, right? So now you're a professional. Now you're adjusting the system for what they need. Now, things like asking, like, what, do you plan on buying an electric vehicle? Why is that important? Because if they are, and they're driving to work every day, the bill's going up, right? And there's calculators we can use for that. So all of these things add to the professionalism and adds to the quality and the accuracy you can give to someone when you're meeting with them. So when they meet with you, they'll say, man, Avi and his guys they're legit. They're professional. They know what they're doing. Which is
That's where I want to go.
because here,
Yeah, you're right.
imagine these 2 scenarios, Avi. Scenario number 1, you show up and do a proposal, and let's say they have a roof that's big enough for 10 kW, but they only use 8,000 in a year, right? So you show up with a proposal for 8 kW, and you're thinking it's a perfect proposal, and then 3/4 of the way, halfway through the meeting, they're like, oh yeah, I just put my deposit on my electric vehicle, right? So all of a sudden, now they're telling you, and they're going to be commuting through California traffic an hour each day, about 2 ways, so 2 hours, right? So now all of a sudden you're like, oh, wow, that's like an extra like 2,000 or 3,000 kilowatt hours in a year, 4,000, whatever the number is, right? So all of a sudden they do need a full 10 or 11 kW system. If you catch that beforehand, you're the professional. If you find out after, they kind of feel like, doesn't this guy do this for a living? Shouldn't he have known, like, ask me
I
these
get
questions?
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course, I
All
get
these
you.
things make these little things
100%.
cool. All right. So that's some of the stuff I'm going to be going through. Any other questions for today?
No, I think I should flow with you with tomorrow. We'll see where we're gonna go tomorrow.
Okay.
Next, the tomorrow session. And yes, I'm gonna, now that I wanna, as I told you, as I wrote, I wanna get into the VIP. So I'm gonna I'm gonna write myself some questions. I'll be ready for tomorrow.
Okay, cool. All right, yeah,
That's
we'll
what
have
I'm gonna
VIP
do.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So, you know, it may be certain questions are more topical based on the day. So just keep that in mind too.
Exactly.
So tomorrow's going to be
Yes.
more focused on lead generation. So you can think of that sort of thing too.
Okay. Yeah, I think my main thing that's maybe bothering me is this, the different types of payments. If it's with cash, if it's finance, or if it's doing the lease with the PPA. It's just the approach that that I need to go to the prospect.
Right.
That's something that I'm having a little bit of unconfidence. I'm
We're
not confident with that part.
that is on the agenda for things to go through. But real quick on that for the approach is, I'll give you an analogy. You have a 3-year-old girl, little toddler. She's cute. She's chubby. She wakes up in the morning and you take her to her closet and it's got all these beautiful dresses and outfits, very colorful. And there's a full closet. They're all hung up. And you say, honey, choose which outfit you want to wear today. And she looks wide-eyed. And after a few minutes, she starts to shake a little bit and a tear comes down her face. Why? It's overwhelming for her. It's too much, right? It's just too much for someone her age to make that decision. Alternatively, while she's getting ready, you take out 3 outfits. You take out the blue dress, the yellow dress, and her pink little outfit she likes, right? And you lay them on the bed. She comes in, you say, honey, tell me which of these outfits you want. She looks at the bed, she sees the 3, and she points to the pink one, and she goes, I want to wear that one today. She's the happiest kid in the world, right? Because it was a choice made simple enough that she could make it, right? When you give too many choices to a homeowner, too many options, it's overwhelming to them, which this leads to indecision, right? They won't make a decision because they feel like it's too overwhelming. But if you listen to them enough, you can get to the point where ideally you're saying, which one do you want, A or B? Which one do you think is better for you, right? And then the whole meeting goes towards that. So that's one of the things we can really focus on as part of this is you learning how to bring the conversation to that point. But ultimately, some people think it's like, I used to think in situations like that, it's like, oh, I want to give them as many choices as possible. It's like, just like the little girl, you don't want to give her as many choices as possible. That's like the worst thing you could do for someone because it's so overwhelming, right? They want you to be the expert. They want you to listen to them, and they want you to recommend what you think is best based on their unique situation, right?
You're completely right. Yeah, I get you 100%. Yeah, I understand you because I already went over with this with somebody else and you told me exactly what you said.
Yeah.
So yeah. Okay, I got you.
So again, that comes
of course.
down to doing really good discovery, which is like asking the right questions and then making sure that they are making sure that they are, you're providing them what they want. And then again, you're feeding it back to them. Oh, you said you wanted something that was 0 down, or you preferred that. Or some people may say, like this guy you just mentioned, oh yeah, I do think I may go with cash. And when someone says cash, this is the first thing I'm asking. When you say cash, what exactly do you mean by that? Do you have like a home equity line of credit you plan on using? Do you have you literally have an account, you're literally just going to pay for this, you're going to write a check? Like, what do you mean by that? Like, what does cash look like to you? And someone will say, oh, no, I have a home equity line of credit for my house. So their situation, right? And if someone says they're going to use a home equity line of credit, that's different than them saying, I'm just going to write a check and, I have savings for something like this, right? Because a home equity line of credit, now I can compare that to a 0 down lease, right? Or a 0 down financing.
Yes.
And I can say, well, if that's what you're comparing this to, your home equity line of credit would probably be better, maybe a better choice. And then I can ask all the questions I need to ask to understand why they believe the home equity line of credit is a good fit. And then if they say, well, maybe I don't want to tie that up, right? Maybe they don't want to tie up the home equity. So you have to understand their situation. And that comes down to the discovery, asking the questions, and then at the end of the day, what people want to know is, hey, Avi, if this is your house, which one would you do, right? Like, if it's your house, which one do you want to do? Which one do you think is best? And that involves like critical thinking, and it involves like being honest with people and not hiding things, particularly
Exactly.
if like dealer fees and stuff like that. But that's when you do that, people will see you genuine. They'll see they can trust you. And when you do give a recommendation, you're really giving what you believe is best for them in that situation. So yeah.
To
We'll get
come
more-
with, I understand you completely. That when I come up to a customer or prospect, the more that I show him that I'm professional, I understand what's his needs, and they can rely on what I'm saying, what I'm offering them, and they see that I'm trustful. I understand you completely.
Yeah.
That's the way that you're supposed to approach a customer. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And hopefully we'll work on it this week.
Cool. Yes. All right. Well, you have a great rest of the day. I'll see you tomorrow, and yeah, look forward.
Thank you. And okay, I'll take care of what I'm supposed to take care of. Okay.
Okay. All right. Have a good
Thank
rest
you
of the day.
so much.